This is Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and today, 8 stories in the queue from yesterday. You covered in competition covering information that includes information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and bringing you these news stories that you brought to us, featuring stories including Shrek, Kevin Costner's, and birthday wishes to Jessica Simpson, and more. We'll explain the vetting process, how things got into this cast in just a bit, but we'll remind you, if you want to find more details about the Conversation Project, what we're all about, visit our website. This is conversationproject.com, and of course, email us for all your comments and sometimes nice things at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. We have 8 stories in the queue from the day, top stories from yesterday. As I said, we'll explain how those stories got to be the tops per you. You had all the choice decision to get those in there and give you some context on where they were, where they fall in line in the actual milieu, which I totally butchered, of the day. So let's get into story number 1, a big time deal. This was one of the lower rated stories in the range to talk about, but this is one of the biggest stories going forward because there's a lot of talk about the other guy, but not about this guy. Who we're talking about? Donald J. Trump. And Donald J. Trump had good news for his platform, or the GOP platform specifically, because the Republicans adopt the platform that softens the language on abortion and same-sex marriage as he has asked. Now, the Republican National Committee is revisited and revised his platform to soften its stance on abortion, marking a significant shift in its traditional pro-life position. The new platform moves away from the advocations for federal abortion bans and reflects a more moderate approach. Change aligns with Donald Trump's influence on the party as he campaigns for his 3rd presidential run. The revised platform also aims to appeal to a broader electorate, including younger voters and women who have shown more support for reproductive rights, something that's not necessarily a conservative issue. However, the shift has generated mixed reactions from within the actual party, people who have been hardliners, if you will. Some Republicans are supportive of the new direction, believing it to be a pragmatic approach for the upcoming elections. You got to win the thing. While others are unhappy with the departure from the long-standing pro-life stance, the very hard long-standing pro-life stance. We'll see how this plays out literally in November, and if things go a while and array and a ways going forward. But right now, we know that the official Republican lines is a lot less strong-willed on abortion and other civil rights, if you will, because there are people out there who aren't hardlining red folks, who might vote for Trump given the choice, especially given the situation we're seeing with the other guy. Speaking of other guys, back in the news is Mr. Brett Favre. Brett Favre is asking for an appeals court to reinstate his defamation suit against Shannon Sharpe. Brett Favre is a retired NFL quarterback who is requesting that the federal court reinstates his defamation lawsuit against former NFL player Shannon Sharpe. Favre's legal team argues that Sharpe made the defamatory statements about him regarding the Mississippi welfare scandal that he was involved in. And yes, he was involved in it. Back in the past. Last October, the U.S. District Court dismissed Favre's lawsuit, stating that Sharpe's comments did not meet the legal standard for defamation. Favre's appeal is now being considered by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 5th Circuit. Good news, great news, long-standing news for the franchise going to Shrek 5. You've heard Eddie Murphy talk about Shrek 5 is happening, and apparently it's not only happening, we know when it's going to happen. Shrek 5 release date has been given in a pitch-perfect announcement video. 3 OG stars are returning. Shrek 5 officially coming back to theaters July the 1st, 2026. That's literally 2 years from now. The film will see the return of its original cast members, including Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz, reprising their iconic roles in the movie. The installment comes 16 years after the release of Shrek Forever After, continuing the beloved animated series by DreamWorks. Now, Shrek by no means has died in any fashion, but after 16 years from the last movie, you may think there may be some fatigue. A kid's franchise, if you will, that is literally 40 years old. Well, not quite 40 because I'm past that, but it's quite a bit old, quite a bit worn, quite a bit used. But people still love Shrek and Donkey and Fiona and all the gang coming forward. And especially with all the stuff they've done with Puss in Boots to extend, the copyright going forward. Now a new Shrek movie coming forward. Details on the movie and the script not out there yet, but we do know Shrek is coming 2 years from now. Let's move on to another story out of China. And this story is dealing with the menace that is the machines rising up against us. Not quite. A driverless car hits a person crossing against the light in China. A driverless car operated by Baidu struck a pedestrian who was crossing against the light in Wuhan, China. The incident underscores the challenges autonomous driving technology faces in complex urban environments. Essentially, people have to follow the rules even though they don't, because the cars have no choice but to follow the rules. Baidu stated the car began moving when the light turned green and made a minor contact with the pedestrian. This incident sparked discussion on social media, with many supporting the car makers, highlighting the difficulty of programming autonomous vehicles to handle unpredictable human behavior effectively. It's us humans. We're going to get ourselves killed by the machines because we're just not following the rules. More rules, this time for Denmark. And we talk about this fairly often, but Denmark's making it happen. Headline for number 5 story is Gassy livestock are going to be taxed in Denmark. There's a tax for everything, and now flatulent cows are getting it. Denmark is set to introduce the world's first carbon tax on livestock emissions, specifically targeting methane emissions from cattle. Starting in 2030, Danish farmers will face an annual fee of about 672 kroner, which is about $96 per cow. Tax aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and combat climate change. The rate will increase by 300 kroner, or about $43 per ton of carbon dioxide equivalent by 2023, rising to 750 kroner per ton in 2035. The pioneering move is part of Denmark's broader strategy to cut its overall emissions and promote sustainable farming practices. Now, you've heard plenty of screams from the right, if you will, about the fact that the left doesn't want you to have hamburgers because cows are bringing in, emissions and killing the planet. There's some truth to cows bringing up emissions. There might be some truth to the left not wanting you to have hamburgers, but it's a bit overblown, and apparently you can pay your way out of it, apparently. Now, number 6 story for this morning is this one. Headline reads, Mounjaro beats Ozempic for weight loss in first head-to-head comparison of real-world use. Mounjaro has been shown to be more effective for weight loss compared to Ozempic, according to recent studies. Both drugs are GLP-1s, receptor agonists, that's the word, which help control blood sugar levels and promote weight loss. But Mounjaro also activates GIP receptors, potentially enhancing its effects. Key points from the comparison include effectiveness, mechanism of action, side effects, and the cost, of course. The latest findings suggest that patients seeking more substantial weight loss might benefit more from Mounjaro than Ozempic. Both of them have the side effect, if you will, of weight loss, but Mounjaro is better at it, and Ozempic is, better as being a semaglutide on the blood sugar stuff. Mounjaro is called a tirzepatide, which I told the butcher as well. So not quite the same drug, obviously, but both GLP-1s that have receptors that end up curbing your enthusiasm for food and curbing your want to eat more. That's the main way of why you lose weight on the drugs. Let's go to story number 7. Surprise to all of us, especially the Gypsy Rose Blanchard, as she announces she is pregnant pretty soon after her release from prison for conspiracy to kill abusive mother. Now, soon is within a year, but the really soon thing was Gypsy Rose Blanchard announced that she is pregnant with her first child, expecting the baby with her boyfriend, Ken Uker, recently after her split from her husband, Ryan Anderson. Remember, she was married to Ryan Anderson while in prison. She was released, went to live with him, and life wasn't great with him, so they are in the process of getting divorced. They may actually be divorced at this point, I don't know, but they are breaking up, and now she has another boyfriend. How she is hooking up with people, we're just going to leave that nugget right there for you to digest as you want to. The pregnancy was described as completely unexpected by Blanchard in the social media post, something she's also supposedly backing away from because she's trying to keep herself out of trouble and not go back to jail. This is a story that's an interesting one because we follow Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Blanchard is a big story because of people who like true crime dramas, and the fact that she conspired to kill her mother with the help of a current boy or a then boyfriend, and then lived all the time in jail. After being released, I'm not sure what she's doing other than living on social media. She could have a job at the Piggly Wiggly for all I know, but she's living her life and being followed by lots of folks. A lot of people are interested in what's going forward. What's going forward for Blanchard is her first child being expected very soon. So congratulations on that. Let's hope she can keep things together and have a safe life. And a double dose this week of Kevin Costner. Maybe a triple dose. Maybe we had a Monday and Tuesday. But yesterday we talked about how Horizon, the movie Saga, big Saga, dropped from the box office top 10 after 2 weeks, the top 5 after 2 weeks. Because, a lot of people are going to see it or hear about it and realize it's a very long movie. It's part 1 of 4 movies, and they're all long movies. But the original plan was to watch them, at least the first 2, in the theaters before they're released. You have to see it in the theaters. You're going to get a chance to see the first one out of the theater before the second one is released, because Horizon American Saga Chapter 1 will be available for digital on July 16th, 2024. That's literally next week. The film premiered on June 28th, of course, a few weeks ago. Mixed reviews, and people aren't seeing it for many reasons. One of them is it's a really long slog in the theater. The next movie to be released will be released in August. So the original plan to watch them both in the movies before they are movie theaters before they are released on digital has been squashed. So very soon you'll be able to buy this on digital. It won't be free by any means. Apple, Amazon, and Google will allow you to purchase it, to rent it for a while, starting on July 16th. So if you want to see it, check it out in the comfort of your home with the time allotted that you want to basically pace it on your own. You can do that very, 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 very soon. Let's get ready for our teaser story for the morning. This is a story that we have that teases an upcoming story that we're posting, or a story that's already posted in the feeds that hadn't got much love yet, and gives us a chance to discuss how we actually get these stories to you, how we present them, how they become stories for you to engage in, which is the real point, and give us the headlines, give us the listening stories to talk about, because you do tell us what stories to talk about every single weekday morning. And it's extremely simple. You go to our feeds, which are our website links on Facebook and X, facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project, and x.com, or it still goes to twitter.com/th_conversation. And as a story pops up, every 50 minutes or so, we put a new news story in there. You just engage in it. You like it, you love it, you hate it, you put the little scrunchy face emoji in there, whatever you want to do, and share it with other folks. Read it, please, because it's not so much about looking at headlines and freaking out. It's about reading the actual story and being informed. The more engagement you give to a story, the better chance we have of talking about it in the future iterations, either in these things here or in some of the hot takes we do in TikTok and YouTube Shorts, or the weekend shows where we talk about what stories actually in the cumulative come out as the top stories of the week. The story we have right now that we're spotlighting, that we're going to tease right now, is an interesting one. The headline for this story reads, Deion Sanders praises Colorado campus police after they booted son's $400,000 car. And this is a funny story. This is a really good story, and it shows that Deion Sanders, for what you think about him and what's going on, does have the good instincts of a parent and will overly blast his kids because they kind of deserve it, and because he knows and they know how privileged they are. Deion Sanders talked about the kind of silliness that his son, although getting $1 million in NIL money, is declaring bankruptcy, saying, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous what you're going to do. He's also saying that the Colorado College is in the right for booting his son's car. Read the full story, read the full details of what's going on to get the full story. But if this is one you want to chat up more deeper tomorrow, you just simply tell me. Go to our feeds and tell me this is one that's worthy of chatting up, and we'll look at it. Now, what's going to happen is tomorrow we'll take the top 30 stories. We'll get about 30 stories within the daytime of a day plus a couple hours. So about 28, 30 hours worth of time to look for. We'll take the top half of those stories. So if we get 30 stories in that swath, we'll take the top 15 of those stories and pick 8 of them to present to you here. And we'll do that for tomorrow, the Thursday edition of the show, just like that. So if this is one you want to see, make it a top 15 story. We'll weigh it against those other stories, and we'll see if this one makes it out today. The story we had about the, was it flatulent? Yeah, no, it wasn't the flatulent cows. The story we had today, we teased the story yesterday. Basically, this teaser story is basically making it in there if they're there, unless they get blasted out. We are glad to have teaser stories to tell you about and to explain how we get stories into the actual feeds. Let's go to the next slide. It's not a story. It's a sponsor. The spotlight sponsor for this week is Hostage Tape. Hostage Tape is the strongest, most comfortable, greatest mouth tape in the planet. And not only do they offer mouth tape, they offer nose tape, so it helps you breathe through your nose. You can either cover your mouth, all simple, or open your nostrils, open your passageways for better breathing through your nose. It's that simple. They just had a big, massive sale where you got 2 months of supply for buying 4 months. So it's 6 months of supply for the price of 4. That sale is over, and they are replenishing their stock and making sure that you're taken care of going forward with whatever it is you're needing for your breathing needs. And it's just good stuff. We have been very, very, very staunch supporters of Hostage Tape. Even back, about a year or so, 2 years or so ago, when we started promoting them, people thought, hey, this is kind of weird. It might seem kind of weird, but it's great stuff. So if you're having issues with breathing at night or breathing while you're exercising or just breathing in general, Hostage Tape may be the thing for you. Cover your mouth and breathe through your nose properly. Try that for a change. And try them out at our website link, which gives us a small commission as an affiliate. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape, just like it sounds. This is a commission link, so click affiliate link, so click in it, we get a small commission. But they're going to take good care of you and cost you nothing extra. And who knows, they'll probably have another great big deal coming because they have them very often. So now that they've gotten so popular and people are ready to basically run the tables to get them, you know that you need to know about Hostage Tape. The Conversation Project lives online at thisistheconversationproject.com. We want to remind you that what we do at the Conversation Project is literally all about you, all about what it is you're looking for. And that is quick ways to get information, quick ways to get knowledge, quick ways to find people to have real conversations on real topics out there. Yes, the big stories are literally the story for the last 3 weeks has been Joe Biden's health and ability to run for president. Yes, that's sort of had a little bit about Donald Trump mixing there going on. Yes, we had a large hurricane that is now a big storm, no longer tropical depression, making its way towards the north, towards Canada. Yes, those things happen. But there are also other smaller things, smaller details, things that are gossipy in some cases, but some things that, to get to talk about. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a story that is getting lost out of there, and most people may think, do I really care? Trust me, there are people who really care, and you get a chance to vote up the ones you care about and vote down stories you don't care so much about. So do that by simply following us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter or X, and just engage in the stories and tell us what stories are most engaging. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com and let us know what we can do to improve and do things better all around. Consider being a partner and coming in on a higher tier, literally, and helping us directly fund what's going on here. And check out our sponsors page to see how those sponsors can take care of you and the easiest way to take care of us. We get small commissions from those things. Follow us on our various platforms, kind of watch what we're doing. Sign up for the newsletter, because the best way to get information from me is to just be on the email newsletter list. Emails are direct. If one day I lose, StreamYard was bought out by another company, by Bending Spoons, who has done a lot to improve some of the products they've bought and make people angry because they raised the price. If the price goes up or some module in this product goes away that I can't use, although maybe they'll actually fix the sync issue that I have, we want to have direct contact with you. So join us on our email list. Go to the website, thisistheconversationproject.com, and sign up for the email newsletter, and we'll have you there directly as well. Now, we've taken care of the work, that's the news stuff. We've taken care of the business, that is the true business, the actual salesy stuff, the promotion, things like that. And we promoted ourselves because that's what's important too. Now it's time to get to the fun stuff. It is time for things you might ought to know for this Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. And these are the funner things, the more interesting things, the fact type things that we have for you every single weekday morning. This is what we give to you. Let's say things you might ought to know, things that are coming up in for conversations. Sometimes they're good beer bets, if you will, or just history things to bring up for friends or folks around the office. We're going to start off with birthdays because we always start with birthdays. Because birthdays, having your name called out for birthday is the most funnest of things of all. Some recognition, a little bit of love, if you will. And birthday wishes today on this 10th of July going out to people whose names I can't pronounce. So let's start off with one I can. The lovely Jessica Simpson, who is 44 years old today. Chiwetel Ejiofor, almost got it, is 47 years old on the day. And Sofia Vergara, who I think I actually got that time, 54 years old on this day. Happy July 10th birthday to those beautiful, all those beautiful, beautiful people. Let's do some history. Today in history, going back in the day, starting off on 1964 on this July 10th, the album A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles was released to the world. So one of the Beatles' greatest albums from one of the greatest bands of all time, released on this day in 1964. Back in 1985, yesterday or Monday, we celebrated Coca-Cola Day because it was the day Coca-Cola was invented, made way back. But back in the middle 80s, there was a time to change the Coke formula and do it pretty shockingly. So it tasted a bit more sweet, if you will. Because the Coke was losing to the Pepsi Challenge, i.e. it was rigged, Coke decided to change up the formula a little bit to make it more modern. And then people were like, nope, not happening. So, bowing to pressure on this day in 1985, irate customers had the knowledge of introduction of something called New Coke, and then they resumed the old Coke known as Coca-Cola Classic. So if you still wanted the newer tasting Coke, you can get it, but you can also get the stuff people wanted back in the day. Now, here in 2024, as there are like 12 different Cokes, including coffee and star flavored, vanilla and cherry, those things as well, and all the whatnots. This doesn't make any sense since there are now literally 20 different flavors of Coke, just as Coke. But now and then, two different times. Let's go to 2015, not too far back, but this was the day the Confederate flag was taken down for the last time from the South Carolina Capitol grounds, one day after the state legally ordered it to be removed. This is one of the big moves done by Nikki Haley, the governor at the time, to sort of start a healing process with the state of South Carolina, and in the waving, the flying, the promotion of the Confederate flag. What's that gotten her? Well, now she seems to be promoting the Confederate flag. But, we change. Politicians flip-flop all the time. It happens. Learning something on the day from the Big Words Project, the word of the day is gaslight. And gaslight means to deceive a person or group of people through repetition of a constructed false narrative. In a sentence, she felt increasingly confused and anxious as her partner continued to gaslight her, making her doubt her own perception and memories. Now, this statement, this word, as it is, gaslight, made famous by a movie. I believe it was in the days of Wines and Roses. I think that's what it is. I should have looked it up before, but it's a classic movie where literally the gaslight is being lit to confuse a character in what's going on. So literally being gaslitten by the issue. Now we seem to overly use it and just use it in way too many capacities. But gaslight, the word, is the word for the day. More words about words of the day at the Big Words Project, thebigwordsproject.com, and the release very, very soon. I know we're 2 weeks late. But the volume 2 of Big Words You Ought to Know coming out probably middle next week. Want to make sure it's all good, all cleared. So we'll probably wait till next week to give it plenty of time to rest and plenty of time to get good, and a full week to promote it. To be honest, we'll sell it all week here. That's what we're going to do. Our next thing for you is a bit of positivity, and this is our daily affirmation. Today's affirmation, we can repeat this to yourself to make yourself feel more positive and more confident. It is, I am deserving of happiness, love, peace, and prosperity. This affirmation reduces negative thoughts. Affirming your worthiness of happiness, love, peace, and prosperity can significantly reduce negative thoughts. allowing you to maintain a positive outlook and keep challenges in perspective. Repeat this to yourself or other affirmations that you could find by going to the Amazon and looking for. I have a book of 100 affirmations for positivity and confidence. You can check them out at Amazon. Just search for 100 affirmations pain, and you'll see it right there. Let's move on to the celebration for the day, because every day is a day to celebrate, and today it's a twofer. It is Teddy Bear Picnic Day, because who doesn't love teddy bears? Who doesn't love picnics? And with it being so warm, it's a great time to go out and have a picnic with the kids, or the kids at heart, with your teddy bears. Teddy Bear Picnic Day is celebrated on July 10th every year. Almost every individual has had a teddy bear or stuffed toy of some sort, and they've been the loyal companion to you throughout your childhood, and for some of us, throughout adulthood. The unofficial holiday is largely celebrated in Canada, U.S., Australia, and some parts of Europe, so it's European-ish, but you can enjoy it wherever you are. The summer is time. It's perfect time to basically, Northern Hemisphere at least, it's not summer in Australia, of course. Perfect time to go outdoors, have a picnic, and hang out with your teddy bears. If this is not the holiday you want to celebrate, alternatives for the day include Don't Step on a Bee Day, which should be every day, but it's officially on the calendar for July 10th. Also, Kitten Day and Pina Colada Day. So if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain and you're not into yoga and you do have a brain, if you love making love at midnight, and I lost the last one, so I don't know the last one, but today's the day to celebrate, take a couple, and go forward. We have a lot of drinking things this week. It's just, I guess drinking is good for the early middle part of July because it's hot, so alcohol goes well with that. Actually, it doesn't. But Pina Colada Day, you can celebrate that as an alternative celebration day on this day. No alternative to the real thing, except if it's Coca-Cola. We are done with things you might have heard and things you might not know for Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. I am Jay Clifton Payne, and I want to implore you, stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. We have more great things on the way. We have plenty of stories in the queue for you to vote on, including the story on Deion Sanders being kind of happy that his kid's car got booted on campus. If you want to have one of those stories be a part of the queue for tomorrow, you just engage in it. Tell us what stories are good, gooder, or better, or bestest, and we'll do our best to get them on the air for you tomorrow. In the meantime, we check out our partnership page at our website and see if you deem us worthy. We will take good care, be good stewards of whatever you provide for us. And if, we're not quite that worthy or you're not in the position to do that, email us with your comments and concerns. We will take them in. They're just as weighted as everything else. We take them just as serious. Love you. Mean it. Let's go out there and have a great Wednesday. Let me know how the new stuff is going. Let me know how the new producers is going. Let me know if you're on our YouTube page, how the clips that we're producing are going. And if you're not on a YouTube page, let me know how I can produce those clips onto things like TikTok and smaller things. Because the ratio, I'm not the biggest fan of TikTok because you got to film things in the ratio, make things work inside baseball. But yeah, so we're trying to make it work as best as possible. We want to put more things on the hot takes without having to cut hot takes because time is of a premium right now. But we're getting back in this full swing of things. The second full week of producing this, we're glad for that one. Finding out timing issues, finding out production issues, finding out some things that we do great that take more time and take away from other things. So if you're in the partner, you already know what we're looking to do to shake things up. If you want to know what's happening, just email me and we'll let you know exactly how we're going to change things up. In the meantime, as I said, love you, mean it. Have a great Wednesday. We are done for this edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard.